Hello, and welcome to A Friend Like Me podcast. I am your host, Shariel, and I started this podcast because everybody needs a friend like me. Today's main topic is stay away from people who have nothing to lose. But before we get into the main topic, I have my first segment, which is called What I've Noticed. And what I've noticed is that the grocery store receipts are always super long. And I used to think it was because, you have all these itemized items. But I went to the grocery store the other day and I bought 2 things. And the receipt was like a foot long. I'm like, why does it have all this information for 2 items? But do we ever read grocery store receipts? I don't think so, unless we're looking at our savings. But let's get into the main topic, which is stay away from people who have nothing to lose. I feel like we take things too lightly and we take our lives a little too lightly. And I feel like when you have specific goals and you're trying to become a certain person and stick to your standards and your dignity, you have to really guard who you're around, no matter how many years you've known them. It could be a childhood best friend, it could be your own mother, it could be your favorite cousin. But you have to really guard yourself because being around people that have nothing to lose will definitely be your downfall in the end. An example of this is, say, for instance, you're married, but you're actually a person who takes marriage and relationships serious, which most people nowadays don't. You can have a friend who you truly love. They have a great personality, but they have poor character. And this person just so happens to always have been scorned or burned in dating. So when it comes to dating and relationships, they don't care what level it is, whether it's just talking all the way to marriage. They don't respect any type of union. So say your marriage is on the rocks, but you're not the type of person to throw in the towel because you love who you're with. If you're around a person who has nothing to lose, a person who does not even really believe in relationships, they're always hurt, and they self-sabotage the relationships that they are in most of the time, if you're around them, they're going to influence you to do things that you shouldn't be doing, even if it's something that seems small. A lot of times people that have nothing to lose and they're around somebody who does, they'll introduce you to things and throw little small things at you to test the waters. So say you're married and you guys are going through a lot. They might say, oh, let's go out for drinks. It seems innocent until you're there, and say they're flirting with a guy who happens to be in a friend group. And then one of the friends from the guy's group is looking at you now. Instead of your friend being a good person and respecting your union, they're acting like you're single too. They don't tell the guy in the other friend group that you're married. Your friend now is almost acting as a wing woman to have you exchange numbers with somebody. And that could be an extreme, but I know it happens. So even if it's not as extreme as your friend trying to be a wing woman for you, knowing you're married and you didn't ask for this, it could be something small like your friend who doesn't respect relationships has put you into a group chat. So say your phone is on the nightstand. You could be in the shower and your husband's in the bedroom. Your friend put you in a group chat with a bunch of women that are sending pictures of the men they're talking to, their sexual relationships, or talking about, do you think this man is fine? And your husband has no clue, no context to this. Boom, that friend that doesn't respect relationships sends you a picture of a guy who happens to be fine. Your husband sees the picture while you're in the shower, and you're walking out of the shower into an argument because you have a friend who has nothing to lose relationship-wise. You see what I mean? Like, you can love somebody, but do they truly respect where you are in life and what you're trying to maintain and what you're trying to achieve? A lot of people have people in their lives that actually don't respect them, and you don't even realize it until after, if you just happen to fall out or create distance with them. Another example of this is, say you're in college and you're pursuing law while your roommate is pursuing communications. And I'm not talking down on communications. I'm just saying it's a different journey and the intensity levels are a little different. Say this person has nothing to lose because their parents are paying for them to go to school. So they're not in school debt at all. They may come from an affluent home and they don't really need to go to college. They're just going to get a degree just to say they have it, right? they have less to lose than you. And say they don't take life serious either because they come from a background that's a little more cushy. They didn't have to really work too hard for anything. You, on the other hand, you're on scholarship. You still have to take out a few loans to cover everything, and you're pursuing law. That requires intense study because you need to pass the bar exam, and it's coming up. And say you come from a single parent home, so you don't have a safety net to fall back on because your mom is working just like she was working when you were a child. She's working all the time. So you know what you're going to come back home to if you don't make it as a lawyer. So you have this friend who has nothing to lose. She has a whatever attitude. She's trying to bring you out to hang out with everybody, trying to have boys in the dorm and distract you, playing loud music, not going to sleep till 3 a.m. or coming in at 3 a.m. while you're trying to study, or you just went to sleep because you were studying all night. That type of stuff can sabotage you because you're around somebody who has nothing to lose. People that have nothing to lose are usually reckless, impulsive, they can be dangerous, and oftentimes they're hopeless. So because they have no hope and you might be around them, they might put you in a situation where this can affect your future. And that reckless or impulsive or hopeless person could be a cousin, it could be your mom, it could be whoever, somebody you truly care about. But the thing is, if they don't care about themselves and their future, they don't really have the capacity to care about yours. Because if you don't care about yourself, how are you going to be a good friend or a good mother or whatever to care about somebody else? Is not really going to happen that way. And on top of that, people don't realize everybody in your circle is not in your corner. And I didn't make that up. That's from Cassandra Mack. But it's very true. If you're around people who have nothing to lose, they might be around you. They might act like they like you or whatever, just be around for good times. But are they really in your corner? Do they really have your best interests at heart? Do they truly have your back? That's what really is going to show up one way or another by the type of conversations you have, the situations they try to put you in. You have to be very careful about that. And even if you do have great people in your life, and I hope you do, and always keep checking inventory anyway because things can change, but make sure you don't even put yourself in environments where you're around people that have nothing to lose. Oftentimes that could be certain nightclubs, that can be certain bars, just certain areas that are sketch. Stay out of those areas. You don't need to prove that you're cool or that you didn't forget about where you came from. That stuff is a bunch of baloney. You need to protect yourself and make sure you care about your future, because those type of environments have people that like to fight, like to argue, that are negative, that are jealous, and might have that thing on them, if you know what I mean. You shouldn't even be in a party that might have somebody that has that type of thing on them. Or even it could be a place where people are gambling and rolling dice, and you know what happens when stuff gets heated, when somebody loses their money and they don't want to give it up. So that's what I'm saying. We have to be very careful about the environments we're in, because if we're around these type of people that have nothing to lose, you can lose it all. And it won't even be because of you. That's the scary part, I'm telling you. And one last example I wanted to give was financially, right? Some people may not sabotage your relationship. They may not sabotage your career, but they may influence you in a bad way when it comes to your finances. Especially now that it's football season and basketball season is right around the corner, a lot of people are getting addicted to betting, doing parlays and sports betting, especially with the fellas. And the bad thing is, you might have a homeboy, you might have a friend that has no money, that has no credit, that has no responsibilities. So he can bet his last on that parlay. But you have responsibilities. You have things you need to take care of. You don't need to be betting your last off of impulse and testosterone because your homeboy is telling you to do it. Like, just do it, blah, 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 betting on a boxing fight. Like, no. Do not let people influence you financially that have nothing to lose. They're going to continue to have financial trouble. They're going to continue to have bad credit. Don't let it be you. It could be one decision. One time you made a bet when you shouldn't have, and now you're behind on your rent. Or now you didn't pay your car note on time, and now your credit is affected. And he can't co-sign for you, your friend that influenced you to do that. So please, like I said, it doesn't matter if we love these people. If these people have nothing to lose, especially when we've worked so hard to where we have gotten to, if you have that 700 credit score and you're trying to get to an 800, don't be around people that don't know how to handle money, that are reckless with their money, because that's going to affect you. And it says this in the Bible: bad company corrupts good character. And it's the truth. You think you'll be the strong one, but they'll end up taking you down. So please help yourself by getting away from people and environments where people have nothing to lose. I hope this podcast was helpful, especially with 2024 coming right around the corner. So now let's get into my last segment, which is called A Song to Expand Your Attention Span. And that song is longer than 3 minutes usually, because songs nowadays are 3 minutes or less. And that song is Off the Grid by Kanye West, off the Donda album. Thank you for listening to my podcast, and enjoy the rest of your week.